Shalom and welcome to Zion Lexx Tv. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share the live stream. Become a member of Zion Lexx TV and unlock several hidden features and hidden videos. Also, you can donate to Zion Lexx TV at Cash App $Zion Lexx or via PayPal at zionlex@gmail.com. We also have an online academy entitled Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. Visit us on patreon.com/learntorah. Our Gold tier membership gives you unlimited access to our special event lectures and our special live movie nights. Our Platinum tier gives you unlimited access to our Torah class, Kabbalah class, Patriarchs and Matriarchs of the Covenant classes, as well as understanding the New Testament via the Oral Tradition class. Our Diamond tier gives you unlimited access to all of the previous tiers, as well as our most sought-after class, our Biblical Hebrew course. And finally, our highest tier, our Sapphire tier, gives you unlimited access to all previous tiers, as well as our highly esteemed rabbinical course. Be sure to sign up today and check your tier membership so as to ensure you're getting access to the classes you desire. Thank you for visiting us here at Zion Lexx TV, and now back to our current live stream.
Tearing down idols and we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods, that's a job for y'all. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, yeah. We don't need these stones. We ain't no gods, that's a job for Yah. Cutting down poles, we're calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones, and we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. Everybody help me say all praise. All praise to the Most High. I can't hear you say.
All right, shalom, everyone. We have a very powerful discussion for you guys here this evening. I have the honor of bringing on a scholar in the community, someone that has, sometimes we say, paid the cost to be the boss, but I know that his humility is greater than that. So I also say that this is somebody that has simply put in the work. And putting in the work, Chuck Morgan has established a continuity of legacy of African thinkers in the diaspora. And I think that his contribution is viable. I think oftentimes, especially in religious circles, where people have differences of opinion, most people say to themselves, well, if this person doesn't agree with my religious comfort, with my religious ideas, then I can't learn from them. And I just want to tell you that that would make you a silly person, right? The Bible tells us that Solomon had more wisdom than that of the men of the East. The Bible also says Solomon had more wisdom than that of Egypt. Now, if you're Egyptian, you're going to debate that. If you are of the men of the East, you're going to debate that. But here is the common sense thing that we can pull from that. The Bible never said that these regions didn't have wisdom. The Bible clearly establishes Egypt as a place of wisdom. The East, which is what we'll be dealing in tonight, as a place of wisdom. So with that being said, everyone, if we are to grow and if we are to learn, then we have to humble ourselves to those who have wisdom, those who have experience, and those who have great journey. And with that, I have the honor, the pleasure, and I want to say even the privilege of introducing my guest tonight on Zion Lexx TV, and that guest is none other than Chuck Morgan. Big salute to you, brother. How you doing?
Big salute to you, brother. I appreciate you for allowing me to occupy your space. It's been a long time coming. We've been discussing this behind the scenes. Just my schedule, your schedule. It's just a matter of time, but I'm so happy. I'm ecstatic.
Oh, I'm so ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic, man. I'm so ecstatic. I know that this is going to be groundbreaking. I want to say possibly earth-shattering. I know we're going to have some moments in this dialogue.
Yeah, we're going
and so I know it's going to get heavy really, really quick. What I'm going to do, Chuck, I'm going to take a quick 60-second commercial because I just want to throw one more light because the light is dim in my background. Copy. So that allows for me to throw up one more light. So I'll allow everyone just a 60-second brief commercial. When we be back, we'll be live with Brother Chuck. Here we go. Thumb up the video, family, and share the live stream because tonight is going to be epic. Count on it. Shalom, shalom, family. This is your brother Avdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx. Go to Amazon and purchase all of my books. Type in my author name, Avdiel Ben Levi, or you can also type in Zion Lexx. There you'll find some of my earliest books and my latest works. It was written and engraved. The DNA of Sound, The Star of David Controversy, Ancient Kemet on Trial, Patriarchs of the Covenant, Matriarchs of the Covenant, and my two foremost books that are critically acclaimed on Amazon, and even one has become a bestseller, and that's going to be the Messiah Codex Volume 1 and Messiah Codex Volume 2. So go to Amazon.com today. Type in my name, Avdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx, and there you can purchase all of my books. Peace and shalom, family. All right. So there we go. There we go. The lights is on. So without any further ado, Chuck, I'm going straight forward. We want some background, Chuck, because a lot of us that are familiar with you, I mean, you have some outstanding expertise when it comes to your language skill set. I have to say so. As a person that has learned biblical Hebrew, as a person that has learned biblical Aramaic, and as a person that has formed the discipline it takes to actually learn Medu I got to say this. Here's a unique statement. I don't know 5 people at all that have disciplined themselves to go out and learn cuneiform. That's an entirely different skill set. Cuneiform is very unlike a lot of language scripts in the world. And I want to say that even in my attempts to study it in the background, and I haven't acquired a teacher yet, and maybe this live stream will actually be the reason why you become my teacher in it, but we'll see on that. But let me say this, in learning it behind the scenes as much as I can on my own, and I'm a big advocate that there are no self-taught scholars, that when a person really comes into information, that they should be learning from someone that has that experience. So I think I certainly will be knocking on your door for more, awareness and knowledge on this topic. But I have to say again, in learning hieroglyphs or Medu in learning Hebrew and learning Aramaic, out of the three that I just mentioned, cuneiform got to be the hardest by far.
I
It's not
agree.
easy at all.
Absolutely.
So your skill set, Chuck, is like it's unique, it's inspiring, and I want to say it's incredible. Right. So I'm giving you your flowers early. You are a beast in your field. You truly are. And that's why I had you on here, you know. So here's where we're going to begin. Tell us about Chuck Morgan. Specifically, where does your journey of insight and knowledge pertaining to these areas, where does that begin?
Okay. Well, my beginnings, my humble beginnings when it came to this, of course, it should be no mystery to a lot of people who are familiar with me. My stint, if you will, online was based on my critiques of the whole Nuwapian thing, and going back through that period, back as far as to my beginnings as an Ansar, going back in 1989. Um, Around the time of 1995, the organization started moving in a direction where Zechariah Sitchins's literature had become prevalent, and the people who compiled the books that were being released were picking bits and pieces of Zechariah Sitchins's work. Plagiarism. I have a section at my website, nuwapianism.com, which goes into that extensively. But my origins with regards to the topic here being Mesopotamia, Sumerian, the language, ironically, goes back to watching episodes of Gilligan's Island. And there was a episode, I forget the name now, but there was an episode is where some clay tablets washed up on the shore, and Gilligan finds them and presents them to the professor. And the professor goes through this task of translating them to where they can understand how to get off the island. All
All
right.
right.
So by the, you go through all the hijinks and the jokes up until the ending of the episode. The professor finally explains that, well, he could read it, and he finally was able to break the code, but it explained how to get on the island as opposed to how to get off. What I took from that was how he, and even when I did a background check of some of the characters, come to find out that this professor actually was a professor.
Look at that.
And he
Look at
did study language. And the way he explained about cuneiform, it was something I had never heard of before, growing up in Washington, D.C., and that stuck with me. For some reason, it stuck with me. And then I saw it again and again over time with the reruns after we get out of school. That was just one plant. But I think the initial plant goes back to around 1972. My father was an insomniac. He always would be up all night. And before cable and all that other stuff came along, we would watch the Late Late Show. And it would be a WJLA. They would run about 2 a.m. They would run documentaries. And Pops was really into documentaries. And there was one that we enjoyed watching, which was Chariots of the Gods. And that, when they, not just maybe I was being spellbound from the music in the background, but when they had taken it to Iraq, and then they started talking about in the Museum of Iraq, and here's some clay tablets that some things bear a striking resemblance to the Book of Genesis, and they start talking about the Epic of Gilgamesh, and on and on and on. And I'm looking at the characters, the way that is being explained. Of course, we know the whole story of Eric von Daniken and that whole thing, but that was another seed that was implanted in me, which as I grew older, that always stayed with me. And anytime I saw something that pertained to cuneiform, Mesopotamia, I was drawn to it. Even when I was in the York organization, I would see what's in the books. I didn't necessarily agree with it because I had already read Zechariah Sitchins's work, the whole Earth Chronicle series. So I could see line for line that was taken out, but at that time you don't go up against the people and whatever. And so that's what spearheaded it for me. Now, as I broke away and then I began to go after the organization, explaining things and debunking the majority of their doctrine, what sparked my curiosity was that I need to go a step further, and that is I need to learn the grammar. And because I did have a lot of friends online who were in different areas of scholarship or schooling, education, when I was able to just send someone an email, to my surprise, if I write a question, they'll respond. And some of the responses I got helped to motivate me further in that direction. And so when I befriended a gentleman, Dr. Joshua Bowen, and he explained that he's going to be having some classes on how to read Sumerian. And before I actually took his classes, I was taking classes with his wife, Megan Lewis. And this was the book, Learn to Read Sumerian. This was the first one. And I just ate this book up. Man, went through the thing. And that was the turning point for me to where I needed and I got it. And then I wanted to go even further. And that's when I started taking other classes with other Assyriologists and PhD candidates who were specialists in Near Eastern linguistics.
Yes.
And that's my journey, and here I am. I'm still here, and I currently I am a intermediate student because it's going to take a lot of years. I can't just look at a cuneiform text and just read it because that's not how the process works. You have
That's
to
right.
know exactly what period. You have to identify the language, the time period, the textual type. Whether it's early dynastic A3, early dynastic 3B or 3, because Sumerian, Akkadian, and all these other languages use the same cuneiform differently depending on the time period or the genre. So if you say, for example, Gudaia's text, Gudea in some of about the third period of ancient Sumer, you could read that differently than you would those early dynastic tablets or protoforms.
Okay.
And they're not like the Neo-Sumerian text. So that it would be difficult for somebody to just take it, read it. You would have to do what scholars do. They take it and they got to check it. Make sure they got to go through all the text corpuses to make sure we have pinpointed which time period that this inscription is in. Because you can look at one text and you could think that this is Sumerian, when in actuality it's Akkadian.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So there's little things that you would have to really be familiar with right off the top that you'll be able to then go through it. And the beauty of it is like what we specialized in was Earth 3 period literature. So like if you look at say Gudaia's writings, in his inscriptions, those lexical texts, hymns, letters, dedication tablets, they are written a specific kind of way. And you can basically you can follow along because most of those inscriptions have the same theme when you're talking about those monumental texts.
Yes.
And that makes it kind of easy to follow along. So like you can go to a museum and you can see one of those inscriptions or Namu or someone, and you'll see it and you basically be able to read it. But when you get down to some real technical aspects of it, you would have to know well, what this represents. Here's a verbal prefix and then a dative and all that complicated stuff that you do when you're doing meticulous transliterating into becoming a bona fide, thorough translation.
All
I hope
right.
that I didn't go off the edge with
No,
that.
no, that was definitely sufficient to give everyone a full gist in some sense of where your strengths are and where your studies are. I think that that's very important. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go for it now. I've seen you not only be critical of the early Nuwapu movement, and I want to point out because sometimes when a person is critical, everyone wants to make it personal. Oh, he didn't like them, that's why he said that, or he didn't like this particular person, and that's why he went against them. I want to point out that you certainly had mentioned offline before we even joined on that you had stayed with York literally up until the time that he was arrested, right, and then eventually put in the incarceration.
A
In
part of
my
the
eye,
organization.
in the reorganization, in my eye view, that would mean that you're a loyalist, right?
Hmm.
You were very, very loyal. So that
Absolutely.
also tells me that any critique that you have, that's just what it is, critique. It's not personal. You were there for the long run, for the long haul,
Yeah.
So apart from being critical of, again, the Nuwabian organization, you're also known to be critical of scholars that are very well known, such as Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and then some people call them pseudo scholars or conscious community scholars. I don't want to do that with this person, but you've also been critical of Asar Imhotep,
Hmm.
right? Who's certainly considered one of the conscious community scholars, right?
Hmm.
I want to know, beginning with Wesley Muhammad, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, let's address him accurately and with respect. What is problematic about his approach in looking at this information and then drawing various conclusions? Because he's also a part of the Nation of Islam, and he's also authored books. And the books that he's authored, right, are dealing in areas of ancient Sumer. And he has took to the public stage to make very bold statements about the ethnicity of the Sumerians based on what he sees. So I want you to just point out for a moment, what do you find problematic about his approach?
Um, I think that it's just on a basic level. It's not from what can it from what I've read and watched, and our back and forth interaction is short. We had a little back and forth thing. Um, I don't see anything that was in depth when it came to the scholarship. He had a publication. I don't know if this thing is working. He had a publication called, I think it was Anunnaki, the
Yes.
something Black God.
Yep. Anunnaki Black
Yeah,
Gods. Yes. Hmm.
yeah, and I went through that section of it, and I even confronted him about it because there were some things in it that I disagreed with on an academic level when it came to the Akkadian language itself, which I had a minor in, which is something that we had to go through as well. Um, when it came to that, I I expressed my disagreement with it, and he put me on blast and said that the brother, yeah, I mean, he was respectful with it. I mean, he didn't come out and say anything that was painfully attacking, but he basically was saying that I was wrong, and he gave his reasons. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you that link to that discussion in his on his Facebook page. And what I did was I just critiqued it and then demonstrated that one, what the name or title Anunnaki represented to the Akkadians as opposed to what Anunna meant to the Sumerians.
Okay.
And with regards to they being black men or space age black men, etc., um, I just challenged him to cite the Sumerian or Akkadian source that that literally said that they were black.
Okay.
And he gave a couple of references, but it wasn't from any text. It would be from individuals who said they were, not
Right.
from
So
what they said.
so if I'm understanding you properly, because I certainly do this myself, that's not proper citation. right? If anyone can write a book today, literally, and anyone can put anything in that book, but I believe in all fairness to Dr. Wesley Muhammad, your question was simple. Can you cite sources that validate that this is how the Sumerians describe themselves? Which means any source that says that has to have a primary source in Sumer that says that, or at least a secondary or tertiary source that's contemporary of people saying that. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was not surprised.
Yeah.
And that was where the and here's the beauty of it. We ended peacefully. I didn't go any further other than a response to him, like I always do. I put it in. I go back to the person, and then he returned and said he's not going to go any further with it, and we left it in peace, and it was all good. And I haven't dealt with it since. I've gone on a couple of other shows and explained the whole Anunnaki thing itself, and what I was kind of not, I wouldn't say annoyed, but what I had noticed was in one presentation that he did was he put up a book. But he very carefully removed the name of the author of the book. He just showed Anunnaki, the inscription, how it looks in cuneiform. But the person who wrote the book, that person's name was omitted. And that was Michael Heiser's publication on that, where he had 3 main scholars come forward and give a complete history and every known quote from Akkadian and Sumerian where Anuna or Anunnaki were used and explained, and citing each individual inscription, verifying it.
Yes.
And I confronted him about that. Why are you omitting Dr. Michael Heiser, his name, because this is his book? He never responded. Because I have the book.
That's one thing I know about you, Chuck. You're going to do your research. You're going to make sure that you dot all I's and cross all T's. Absolutely. And I don't want to say that that's what makes you dangerous, because I don't want to weaponize the information. No. But I want to say that that's what makes you valuable, is that you're genuine to the field of scholarship. You know what it takes to do this in order of discipline and methodology. So we
watch you.
hey, I'm watching you, brother.
I've seen you going in action, man. And so I'm watching you and how you're able to articulate the Hebrew language and the many facets of it. I mean, it's inspiring for me. It's motivating. And like I said, this is part of why I'm so humbled to even be here, because of I love great minds. Okay. And that's just it. Watching even the young brother, the young linguist, Netter Neb.
Smash
Rockwell. The brother
Give it up.
Jaru. Yeah. These brothers have taken the time to engulf themselves into areas of study that we're technically not supposed to be a part of.
That's right.
And then to go out and challenge the people who are in that area.
Come on.
That is something that is inspiring. And certainly I can see from down the road, after my 20 years are just about up, there are going to be some new students coming up that's going to challenge the mainstream as it stands, because this is like science. It doesn't necessarily it's cut in stone as a pun, because it's always something evolving. Just like we can have a discussion about, the Sumerians, were they black or not, etc. We don't have any inscriptions that says that now, but who knows down the road, because there are hundreds of thousands of cuneiform tablets in Sumerian that have been deciphered, translated, and are on databases where you can freely go to watch and to read.
That's right.
There are so many more that are coming. So who knows? Until that evidence has been presented, we hold one position today, and then when that evidence refutes it, we got to move with it.
That's right. On that note, man, I mean, if scholarship isn't critiqued, then there's no growth in the information.
Exactly.
Right. The advancements that we have today in science is because someone critiqued the previous years of scholarship. right? The advancements and innovations that we see in technology is because someone critiqued areas of scholarship. Like, we have to get to a place of just intellectual maturity when we realize that the cultural milieu of learning and understanding is that information will be critiqued. It's just that simple. And no one should be taking it personal, right? Unless the person critiquing you makes it personal. I get it. We're all human. If someone makes it personal as a human, you're going to be offended by that. But
Right.
you shouldn't be outright offended because someone disagrees with the body of your work. In fact, you should be happy at that because it says first, people are reviewing your work.
Yes.
You know how many people publish and no one says nothing?
Yes.
Right? You know, I worked as an EMT for almost 10 years, Chuck, EMT paramedic here in New York City and New Jersey.
Okay.
And when we had a patient that we would assess in the field, like a trauma patient, like from a car accident or whatever, or like there's a multiple gunshots and I got somebody in the ambulance and I check them and I don't see anything, you know what I have to write on the actual report? Unremarkable. I say that to say that's a lot of people's scholarship. They haven't said anything remarkable enough to even cite. So when people are critiquing your work, there's always something positive to take away from it. There's something that you said that made impact. Stop making it an ego thing. So I thank you, Chuck, for what you're doing because it's important and it leads me to land here. So when we talk about methodology and the methods that people develop, good brother Asar Imhotep, he uses Niger Congo and Bantu language families to relate or to show a cognate relationship between ancient Sumer and various West African languages, as well as it connecting it with ancient Kemet and their language, Medu Neter. Now, I think a lot of people would say that's a reach, but I want to admit that in watching some of his videos, there were things that I seen him do in connecting Hebrew with some of these ideas that I actually found a little drawing. But I don't have the skill set to say what he did that was wrong with ancient Sumerian language. I don't have that skill set to critique that. But what I've seen him do with Hebrew, I actually found a little fascinating in some areas. And then because of my knowledge in Hebrew, there were things that I said, okay, that's a reach, right? So I was able to see that he did have some things that were remarkable, right? That was unique and that has a lot of promise. But then there were things that he said that I understood as a person with 30 years of learning Hebrew that's a reach. So now the question is, Chuck, right? Your sphere of learning is in cuneiform, dealing primarily in Akkadian, Assyrian, with Sumerian as well. That being your specialty, what do you find problematic about his approach? Would you say that it's he hasn't learned a discipline? He hasn't actually learned these languages formally? Do you think that that's part of the problem? Or you think B, that at times it just seems that this is all fringe scholarship? Or you could include the other variable C, which is however you see it.
Okay. Well, from what I've been able to read from his own publications, from what I've watched him articulate, I do not see that he took the time to study the grammar of Sumer, specifically Sumerian. The issue isn't just his conclusions, it's the comparative method being invoked but isn't being applied. Sign values are being treated as stable semantic consonants or constants. The phonetic similarity is taken as evidence of a relationship. In historical linguistics, superficial resemblances is explicitly classified as chance similarity, unless you can show a particular level of regular sound correspondences, meaning you have to have a list of similarities where you can rule out these chance similarities. Lyle Campbell, who has a book, Historical Linguistics, in his third edition, he points out that similarity alone does not demonstrate relatedness. Apparent resemblances may be due to chance, borrowing, or other factors unless regular sound correspondences can be established. That's
Okay.
important. That's very important because that's the very foundation of what the historical comparative method is about. So
Yeah.
when you take, because I would like to share my screen.
You can. You absolutely can. And
Okay.
I'll throw it up as soon as I see it.
Okay, cool. Because we went back and forth over something online. Well, it's really it's a whole bunch of things because he and I were going back and forth, back and forth. It initially started with, I can't even find that post. Let me see. Well, I'll just stick with this because he ran with it because it's coming in his book. And let me do this. How do you I forgot how to share it. One thing. Oh, give me 1 second. I got
Okay.
it. I got it. Yeah, see. I'm sorry. All right.
No, you can.
Okay. Here we go. This one. Let me know you see it.
Yep, adding it to the big stage right now. It's on the screen.
Okay. So with this one, I did a presentation. This is my PowerPoint presentation. Kidiru and Kemet, a vivid example of pseudo-linguistics. And I don't want this to be because, like I said, I've mellowed out since our little back and forth. I'm just going through I'm just documenting what led up to certain points of contention. I just want to get right down to the main thrust of it. Okay, here we go. Here's an example right here. I just had it. Okay, so according to Asar's theory that Kemet, a riparian land, is cognate with the Sumerian word Kidiru, he's either unfamiliar with the semantic and historical context of the Sumerian lexicon or willfully promoting a misleading association. I'd opt for the latter. He states that we define Middle Egyptian Kemet to mean a riparian land, pasturage of an abundance of grass and water, with cognates in Sumerian Kidiru, damp ground, irrigatable, etc. Now, I just took this because it goes into all the other points that I have lined out. That the assertion where it says that the cognates from Sumerian is one. Cognates are words in different languages that have developed from a single word of a common ancestor language. That is, they have a common historical origin. Lyle Campbell. Now, these are books that was recommended that I read from these people.
Okay.
Cognates, words in different languages, which are similar because they were inherited from a common ancestor. Trask, a dictionary of historical and comparative linguistics. To be considered a true cognate, words must be shown to descend from a shared root in a proto-language. Simple phonetics and semantic similarity is insufficient. All right, let me get down to the main thrust of where I was trying to go with this. There are certain things that you have to look into when you're even dealing with this thing. So when you're looking at the phonological uncertainty, we don't know if Kidiru sounded anything like Kemet. Why? Because what they'll tell you in Assyriology is that many of these pronunciations that we have when you read in the language, first of all, you have to understand that the Sumerian grammar, or what we find in inscription, is not what the people spoke themselves. If you're looking at Kidiru and then you're going to say it's Kemet, well, first of all, according to them, they explained in that publication that Kemet comes during I think it was the 13th, I have it written down up here, whenever it came after Sumerian had ceased as a language used in Mesopotamia. Okay, so if anything, it would be the other way around. There's a complete lack of sufficient phonetic reconstruction for Sumerian. Some comparisons become baseless without a phonetic baseline for both. Regular sound correspondence. There's no established recurring sound laws linking Sumerian to Proto-Bantu or African Afro-Asiatic languages. Cognitive testing across broad lexicon. Real comparative work involves testing entire basic vocabulary sets, not cherry-picked pairs. And this is what I find when I looked at his work, when I looked at Lyle Campbell's work. Oh, I'm sorry, not Lyle Campbell, Campbell Dunn, because he was the one who pioneered that whole thing about Sumerian being linked to Niger Congo or even Proto-Bantu.
That's right.
So what I was able to put together was a number of sources from books that I've read that I had to pull out. So the following references are sources from peer-reviewed works authored by specialists in Sumerian linguistics and grammar. The evidence focuses specifically on Sumerian grammar. Look at this. The phonetic value of any sign is reconstructed with a certain degree of probability, but we have no way of knowing with certainty how Sumerian was pronounced. That's significant. In Marie Lewis Thompson's book, The Sumerian Language, an Introduction to Its History and Grammatical Structure, we cannot determine with any precision the actual sounds of Sumerian. The values used in transliteration are conventions based largely on Akkadian equivalents. The phonological system of Sumerian cannot be recovered with certainty. Jeremy Black and the Oxford team at what's that website? The Electronic Text Corpus of Sumerian Literature. It makes it clear Sumerian phonology is reconstructed based on Akkadian conventions. Its actual pronunciation may have differed significantly. Concise Dictionary of Akkadian. Dr. Samuel Noah Kramer. Because Sumerian is not related to any known language, and because it was recorded in a written system or writing system not originally devised for it, we can only guess at the true sound values of many of its words. These are now, Professor Kramer, although they were great pioneers in their day, we've moved beyond them because they are some of the top, like Meticulously. He's one of the leading Sumerian linguists now that was on that same plateau with Samuel Kramer. Because of a lack of known cognate tongues, and because Sumerian died out thousands of years ago, it is extremely difficult to establish a reliable grammar or lexicon of the language. The phonology of the language is not well understood, and it is fair to say that it will never be fully recovered. Cuneiform was deciphered backwards. Certain Sumerian phonemes that were not used in Akkadian were not initially identified.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep going with this thing, but the point I was making is, let me stop sharing. One of the points that I was making was that, one of my critiques was that he was using transliterations as the phoneme, and many of them were conventions by way of scholars.
Okay.
There are certain sounds that we know that Sumerian didn't have, but if you looked at it in certain publications, it makes it clear to you that, well, these are scholarly conventions. This is not to be taken as how certain words were pronounced. But if you didn't study that part of it, you can look at a transliteration and then make these connections.
Oh yeah.
Or hold on, check this out. I mean, I'm just try to say it again. Let me see if I pull this up.
Take your time, Chuck. Take your time. In the meantime, family, throw up the video and share the live stream. This is a powerful conversation, guys. We get a rare glimpse at what scholarship looks like in this particular field. I've seen some people attempt it, but I think Chuck does it best.
I appreciate that. let me go over here. And this is one that I pointed out to him directly. And this was what really led to the little downfall that we had as far as, our friendship, if you will. Now, this was from, I did this on Garfield's channel. And that subsequent to that, he had did I guess, a response to it, which I didn't even deal with it any further. I just didn't want. Oh, that's not even the one I was looking for. I did I did one after that. Yeah, that was the one, and I pointed out by going through his glossary, and I pointed out how. Let me pull this up real quick because I think this will get right down to the point, and you'll see it. And I shared this with a couple of other people. All right, check this out. Yeah. Okay. Now this is another one that I never put out, but it was addressing him specifically. Where is it? Where is it? Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna leave it, but I just
Take your time.
okay. So oh, here it is. Here it is, right here. All right. So what I took this from a video where he showed his chart, and here it makes it clear where you have Egyptian remit for man, the Coptic, Chiluba, and you look at Sumerian for the word for male. You have Sumerian Urim. This word Urim for male. So when I looked at that, I said, okay, I remember this one because I know the largest attestation of the word for man is Lu or Lu 2, grown man male. And then you have these words that may be found once here, once there. But he's using it because when you look at Urim, it's not even a Sumerian word. And I found a number of his glossaries are like that. So here, look at this. Okay, so Lu 2, okay, the website EPSD, the Electronic Pennsylvania Sumerian Dictionary. Anyone can pull this up, and you can even put in a word, and then you'll see how many times it's been used in a text, where it's found, everything about it, and all those words. Well, I'm going to show you real quick. So Asar may have copied it literally, and it literally tells you that it's found in one instance where it can be found in an inscription that is traced not to Sumerian, but to Neo-Assyrian. Urim is not even a Sumerian word. So this is taken from, that is the EPSD 2, because the EPSD 1, they upgraded, updated, and added thousands of more words. So with this one here, Urim, male, it tells you Neo-Assyrian, found one time.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
When I saw, and then this is just one of many. Here's another one real quick. So here you have where you have a Proto-Bantu, the word for stone, and then you got Baal, a type of stone, and then it goes into Kikam, and then on and on and on. But then we go to, and this is not just the EPSD, this is universal in dictionaries throughout Assyriology. One, Baal for stone is found 4 times in Old Babylonian, Middle Babylonian, Neo-Assyrian, and Neo-Babylonian. You can't ignore this type of thing. Many Neo-Assyrian lexical lists contain Sumerograms invented for Akkadian equivalents. These forms are not attested in genuine Sumerian usage. Jeremy Black in his Sumerian Dictionary Project 2006. So I go into this whole thing and explain it, and I shared this with him, and we just went into this back and forth thing on Facebook.
Okay.
And
okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna end it right here, but just to let you know that this is part of what I do, because what I'm into it because I have a passion with it. It's my hobby. I
I
enjoy it.
totally get it. I totally get it. I want to ask you now, because it's one thing to critique, but it's another thing to offer a solution, right? So for a person that wants to learn how to read cuneiform in the form of Assyrian, in the form of Akkadian, or even more complex in the form of Sumerian, where is the start for them, right? Are they going to an online source or resource? Is there a particular book or particular books that are good? Are there specific teachers teaching online that are really good? Where would you steer people in the right direction to actually really learn and acquire the discipline of actually learning how to read through this ancient written
O-
script?
Okay, for me, and I encourage anyone to take the time because it's a very time consuming process. Um, of course, Dr. Joshua Bowen, Megan Lewis, their publication one, two, and there's a third one coming up. How um, learn to read ancient
And
Sumerian.
by the way, I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm going to ask you to repeat that. Moderators, if you can, moderators, please. As Chuck is listing these resources, can you guys spell that out, write that out in the chat so that people can actually see? So could you repeat yourself, Chuck, and then go in once more? Where do we
Okay.
find these online resources? What are good teachers? Where are we going?
Okay. Well, for one, an excellent basic, one of the easiest ways to learn. You're not going to get the in depth of it, but just on the surface, basic level of Sumerian grammar and knowing the aspects of it, what you would need to know is our book that I consider to be an excellent book, which is Learn to Read Ancient Sumerian by Dr. Joshua Bowen
Yes.
and Megan Lewis, his
Yes.
wife, to a Syriologist. They took the
Yes.
time to share, and the videos are on their website. Go to
Yes.
Digital Hammurabi.
Yes. They're really good. I've been watching them
I
since
interviewed
you,
them.
since you, through watching you interact with them. I've been
Okay,
watching them. Yeah.
okay. Their work is and well, they haven't done any classes for the last year, but they're going to be starting some right. I think actually this later this month. I'll share with you the link, and by all means, hop on board. It'll be worth your time, even
It'll
if
be
it's
on.
nothing else. If for nothing else, just knowing the basics of it, that's important.
It would be a huge.
Um, um, there's another young individual who, there's a, a Discord group that I'm with different Assyriologists, and there's a young linguist who specializes in Mesopotamian and Asian languages. Uh, Gabriel Berra. Occasionally, he gives classes on it on YouTube. You can go to the channel. Oh my God, Learn to Read Sumerian classes. I'll put the link in even
Okay.
if after that. You also have a number of publications. Or even if you're just getting just simple, if you don't want to get that in depth with it, go to the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature.
Okay.
The electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature. That website coming out of Oxford University, they have sections that gives you a history of it, and it kind of explains or walks with you on a basic level of how to understand the Sumerian language.
Look at that.
There's a whole slew of books I can tell you about that. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. Man, you can. Wow,
This is really good.
yeah, man. This is what I enjoy. You got books by Bram. His name is Bram. Bram Jagersman. His book Sumerian Grammar, excellent book. One of the most cited Sumerian language books out there. Bram Jagersman. It's pronounced Jaegers, but it's like Jagersman. That publication. I'm gonna put all these in. I guess because I can't do it right now. After
Well, I'll tell you what. Just based on where we're at, we're clearly going to need a part two because
Yeah.
of the time that you have doesn't permit us to go into the biblical conversation of this discussion. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely do we'll come back and do a part 2 for that this week at your, or any time soon at your nearest convenience, man. But I'm in great appreciation of you, Chuck. I really do thank you, for what you're doing and for what you're doing here. I think that your work has great value. I just want to address some statements in the chat. Someone says, well, this sounds more like a critical statement, but I'll read it anyway.
I
Someone
love them.
says,
I
how
love
do
it.
you say what is your name in Sumerian? How do you say that? What is your name in Sumerian?
How do you say your name in Sumerian?
Yeah.
Just like I was saying, how they would have a back and forth conversation, we don't really know.
Okay.
Now, how you say it, you would have to pull up a dictionary on what your name will be equivalent to, and how there's an association of what that word means. It's not like my name is so and so, but off the top of my head, I can't tell you exactly how do you say your name.
Okay, good. That's honest. I think everyone rathers that than what people do, which is lying. So we definitely appreciate you doing that, Chuck.
Yeah, and you like I was saying, I don't know if I even mentioned this earlier, that when it comes down to what's in inscription, it's a process. You have to you have to first know when or where, and the context of how certain writings are structured, which is important because the electronic text corpus is important. That's why, because you have every known inscription, and then you'll start to see a pattern of how words are used collectively. And then you'll see how maybe one word you'll find in a one period, say the Earth 3 period, or early dynastic 2. You only see it one time, but you'll never see it again. But you'll find another term that's used that's found hundreds of times. So one of the things with Sumerian, if you look at the various cuneiform characters, you can look at one sign, and that one sign can have 50 different meanings from that one sign. That's why if you look at, sometimes when you see me critiquing people, if I put up a transliteration, you'll see, like, I'll find like Lu 2 or A 2. You see Dumu 3 or something like that, because the scholarly convention is that we found 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 of this. So what they do is they'll put a subscript of a number to let you know that this is not talking about the second one. This is talking about the third or fourth, so that when people are reading it, they'll know what this definition is meaning, as opposed to what that like Ka 1 meant or Ka 15 meant. You see? So it's a very complex, and where in the world we're going to sit and have a broad understanding of it right now, especially in the limited time that we have. So we definitely gonna have to do a part 2 follow up on this, because there's some other areas we haven't even touched on with regards to how sacred writings have continued there's a continuity in thought from Mesopotamia on into, say, biblical narratives.
Okay. Let me close with this question, right? Since just because of time, I want to close with this question. I'm pretty sure that you could do an extended demonstration on this one question I'm going to ask you, because it's a big question. But maybe it'll be a great prelude to conversation part 2. So, in looking at the Sumerian and the Akkadian signs and symbols for God, what has that taught you in any way about their conception of God?
That's a good one. Let's look at it this way. In the grammar, I'm going to do it 2 ways. When you see the word for God, you have An in Sumerian. Okay. Anu in Akkadian. Okay. Now, in the grammar, it could be used as a determinative, that little thing that looks like a star, right? Before the deity. And then the name, what follows it, like here, look, like here, you see this behind me right here?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Oh, right here. That little star, that's a dingir sign.
yes, yes.
All right. So that dingir is a determinative letting you know that what comes after it is a deity's name, which is in Lil. Okay. Also, this dingir can be used as a representation of the sky or a great leader. In the case of Ornamu, Ornamu would have his name. He would put the dingir in his name.
Okay.
So it depends. In consistently, the dingir sign was used to denote the highest.
Okay, let me throw this one at you, Chuck. I'm pretty sure you're gonna smack it right back in my dome, but I'm gonna throw it at you anyway. I'm gonna throw it back at you anyway. So with the Dinger sign, I'm curious. All right, and I want you to peel my curiosity back a bit, and then we'll have you close out after this. From my experience in looking at the transmigration of language, as language travels, as the people travel with their language, right? I notice a set of things happening. You have like a miscibility of consonants where you have like a consonant that might be added. You might have a consonant that might be dropped. So for instance, if the people of Sumer take flight and they begin to settle, let's say in places like Egypt, right? When their language comes into Egypt, it undergoes, as is natural in the process of language development, it undergoes a series of evolutions, right? So when Spanish speakers come and settle in places where English is spoken, they're evolving their language in that environment, right? That's referred to as linguistic cultural milieu, where the environment impacts how language is spoken. So on that note, I ask you this, to just look at it and then weigh in on it. Egyptians refer to in the Old Kingdom God as Nedger, right? In the Middle Kingdom, they're probably saying something closer to Netcher, and by the New Kingdom, they're saying Neter. In the oldest period of Egypt, scholars are saying that the pronunciation more than likely is Nedger. Now, when I hear Dingir, it strikes me, because I know about a miscibility of consonants through the transmigration of languages, where a consonant might be taken away. So I ask you to just consider this point and then weigh in on it live and share with us what your thoughts are. With the term Dingir for God in Sumer and the term Netcher for God in Egypt, would it be plausible to say that with enough research, a person could possibly look to see and explore to see if there's a relationship? I'm not saying because of sound value or phonetics alone that there must be a relationship, but I'm saying that, is it enough to explore? Why do I say that again? Because as you point out, the word for God is Dingir. If a person were to omit the D, we have Nedger, which is literally how Egyptians are saying it. So I want you to just weigh in on that, Chuck, because this is in part the problem that you have with scholars, if I could be also honest. The problem you have with some of these scholars, even some of what I'm saying, I would be some of those scholars in this moment. I'm being honest to admit that oftentimes people hear similarity and conclude relationship, and that's not always the case. But I ask you this, have you ever explored that option linguistically between the term Nedger and Dingir? And if so, what did it reveal? And if not, why did you not want to explore that more?
Okay.
I hope that's not loaded. My apologies.
No, I did early on, and I challenged that. And what I come to find out was that Dingir is a scholarly convention.
Okay.
The sign that we're calling Dingir is the word that they have for sky, which is on. So on is the word dingir is the scholarly rendition of it.
Okay.
It's the convention. So when they recognize it, they say that's a dingir. That in grammar we know that it holds three functions. One as a sign for the sky, is used as a determinative, letting you know what is to follow is an individual's name, and also that it is the word used for the highest
Okay.
or God, if you will.
Right.
So, to make it to sum it up, dingir would be something that the scholars put together.
Okay. So
The
it's a
actual-
scholarly convention as opposed to it being indigenous to the spoken word of the people.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That's
So,
clear.
so on is the term.
Okay.
On. And so, of course, as you know, by the time the oo sound that we find is coming out of Akkadian,
Right.
and you'll find that in multiple places. We even saw that. That's one of the borrowings from Akkadian into Sumerian, and there are words that are likewise from Akkadian that the Akkadians borrowed from Sumerian.
I could even share with you, Chuck, and I'm sure you probably already know this, that even in Hebrew, there's a binary root connection there with An. An, as you mentioned, is the Sumerian idea of God, the highest, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we look up from the vantage point of men walking the earth, being here on the ground, when we look up, the highest we are able to see is the clouds,
Right.
the sun, right? The moon and the stars, right? But mostly during the day, the highest you see is the clouds. So the Hebrew word, Chuck, for cloud is anan.
Mm-hmm.
Anan. Like, so when we want to say cloud, we say anan. So I could see where a scholar may want to explore some of these areas because of those types of relationships. So I think it makes for a great study overall. You know, how far we go and what discipline applied, I think that's where people like you come in.
And I wouldn't argue that at all. Why? Because one, we know that Akkadian is a Semitic language.
That's right.
There is a continuity there.
That's right.
So by the time we get to Ivri or Hebrew, we know that there are words that can trace their roots as a Semitic language, going all the way back to the Akkadu.
Come on.
So that is not far from the speculation realm to be plausible.
Okay.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay, I enjoyed that. Well, Chuck, I'm going to give you as our honored guest to close out. I will also want to let everybody know this is just a warm up. Chuck is really, really coming to share some powerful, enlightening studies with us, his worldview on various topics. We're going to land by talking about what are the commonalities, what are the differences between texts that appear in Mesopotamia, such as the Atra Hasis, the Enuma Elish. Some people even refer to what's called the Eridu Genesis, right? We want to know, or we want to ascertain, is it scholarly to just stand from the outside of all of these texts and just look at chronology and say, because one comes first, the other must be stolen? Or is there a more rigorous study that can be applied that can prove A, if something was taken, i.e. plagiarism, or B, can prove, wait, hold on a minute. It's more to this, it's a little bit more complex. Maybe this is a shared cultural memory that one recorded first and the other writes down several generations later.
And they internalize it. Not that one is plagiarizing like we would have in modern scholar. Now, it wouldn't be anything like that, but it'd be a shared cultural expression.
That's right.
Or a continuity of thought from one society on to another.
That's it. That's very mature.
We have to explore that because I think that is an area that people need to get some insight into it coming from another perspective as far as these ancient languages are concerned from Mesopotamia. we're going to get into that because I have more than enough research on that,
Okay.
and it's something I think if I had the time, which I don't, we're going to have to set up another date, and we're going to get into this where we'll have more time because we're just scratching the very surface.
That's right. So Chuck, it's on you. Close us out with any words that you see fit, and then we'll be officially be closed.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Zion Lexx. I am absolutely humble. This has just been the height of my year so far. You know, I was really looking forward to it, just to be able to just build with you. You know, because I've been, a fan of yours for years. You know, watching you
Likewise,
and Garfield
brother.
go at it, man. It was always I respect scholars, and I ain't speaking on the sense where you got to go and get a PhD. I'm talking about how people like yourself, and I've watched you take it to the scholars.
Come on.
And then they have to step back and say, oh, man. I mean, look at, I think it was a situation, your critique with the guy who actually helped me get my website, newweaponism.com, Dr. Michael Heiser.
All right.
That whole back and forth that y'all were having, you're like, man, this is deep. So this is all inspiring. This only encourages me to go even further. And I'm just delighted to be able to share this space, to share with your audience what little bit of information that I was able to bring forward. And it encouraged them to go a step further and gain more insight into this and just why is this such a fascinating language. And because it is so vast.
It is.
That
it is.
I'm 61, so by the time I really start getting into this thing to levels where I guess I'd be on a Sumerologist level, high tech, my expiration date in life will have kicked in. I think that's the best
well,
way.
Chuck, I want to say you are that to us. You are that to us, and I want to just let you know that you are a valued guest here at Zion Lexx TV, and you are a valued pillar in our community. I think that when we mature as men, as women, and as a family and as a community, we have to at some point see past the difference, look and assess what the commonality is, and then find out where we can build. Too often we lose soldiers. We lose the ability to work together because, oh, I don't like what they said here and I don't like this work. Well, if we did that with everything, there would be no work getting done. So at some point, the mature thing to do is, well, what part of your work do I find value in? And how can we build with that? And the parts of your work that I may not value as others, is there something that I could share with you to help raise that? Too often, Chuck, when there's an issue, people take to YouTube and you see a video exposed after their name, And Chuck is getting just crazy out here. It's getting silly. It's getting silly.
I see it in mass, not just in this our circles, different groups, but I see it from different groups of people in whole different segments of the population.
Right.
Big hats, little hats, the whole thing. Everybody's going at it like that.
That's right. And it makes...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the time like I used to even indulge in that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to just maintain,
there you go,
this area where I'm going right now. Matter of fact, I'm trying to get a book published. I have already completed the drafts, so I have a couple of Assyriologists that's going through it, and hopefully I'll be able to get something out there that's specifically dealing with the Sumerians and were they black. Right. The black heads. Did the Sumerians actually have black heads, something like that? And that's something I've been studying for the last 4 years now. I think I've done more research into that than anybody, honestly. At least according to a couple of people. Even to the point where I shared it with someone who's an Assyriologist, and his thesis was on ancient Kish.
Look at that.
And it's that I didn't even put put those pieces together. And that gave me like, yes, I need more of that.
One thing I know for sure, Chuck, when you come back, I know that's where the conversation is really going to be heavy, because We now have someone that has great expertise, great learning, a long journey in looking at literature from ancient Mesopotamia. And to have you weigh on it with people who are actually scholarly with biblical literature, I think that's going to make for one hell of an incredibly enlightening conversation. So I can't wait for part two. Of course, you and I will connect behind the scenes on what day that is. But
Yeah.
Chuck, God bless you. May you be strengthened, good brother. May the
Brother,
abundance of blessings follow you, good health, wealth, and may you have success in your journey, good brother. I thank you. It's been an honor to have you. And this learning curve of just journeying through life and the irony of how we meet people, we have to take a step back to say to ourselves that how things start doesn't necessarily have to mean that's how they end. So with you and I, we started as combatants in some sense when we actually crossed paths, right? But that's just the nature of the work. That's the nature of the work. But because we truly love what we do and we truly are men of character, no one took it personal. And look at what we were able to do today because of that.
Never forget that, man. That time you was on Sinetta, man, and then I came on, and oh, you trying to set me up,
It was a moment.
You've been there, you've done it. That's just how that was the nature of it at the time. But I'm more refined now. I understand things much better. I've grown from there, and on and on and on. So
that's the fact,
my
brother.
I just want to thank you, man. I'm like just so happy about this continued success to you.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings to you and your family, man. I just thank you, and I thank the audience for just participating, by just being in the chat and with the comments. And I'm overwhelmed by this. It really is a height of my life.
You deserve this, brother, and some. You truly do, because again, you are a pillar. You're a person of great value. You're a person of great journey. You're a person of great experience, and we just simply need that. And rather than be turned off at the moment that we hear something we disagree with, sometimes in sticking around to hear more, you say, okay, I might have disagreed with that, but when he brought it full circle, he actually enlightened me on the whole thing. And that's the part that all of us miss, right? Because even me, I'm like, what's this guy Chuck talking about? Kush ain't Kish. It's the same thing. I know Hebrew 30 years. I don't care what cuneiform he done read. Kush and Kish is the same thing.
Man, we're gonna get into that.
And until I started to watch your work, do more study, and I started to say to myself, it's a little bit more complex than that. It's far more complex than what I was thinking. And I have to say to everybody, this is how you grow. You grow in private, but when you say things publicly, this is how you grow publicly. And I think everyone should take a lesson from my book right now. If you can't admit publicly that you've said something in error and you've got something wrong in error, then not only are you not valued, but at this point, we don't even need to hear from you because you haven't matured to give us intellectual integrity. Anyone can come on a platform and say something smart and appear intellectual. But to me, the true test of intellectual integrity is the ability to say, I had it wrong. And in the same space you thought you had it right, come in that same space and say, I got it wrong. And that's when we know that you're somebody worthy of a follow and you're worthy of a listen. With that, Chuck, thank you, good brother. Until next time.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Peace and blessings to you.
All right. Peace and blessings to you. All right, family. For everybody else, tune in to Zion Lexx TV. We have some amazing and incredible conversations, some lectures happening. I'm thinking of hosting some discussions between opposing minds. I'm not necessarily calling them a debate yet because I'm not sure that I want to run debates on my channel, but I am moving forward with considering having discussions on my channel between people that may have opposing thoughts, but using those discussions and those opposing thoughts to show how we can disagree amicably. That's what I want Zion Lexx TV to be known for. I don't want us to have the name and the brand that many feel very comfortable carrying, which is chaos. I want to show for our people, especially for those of us who have children, that we can disagree, but we can disagree from a place of love. We can disagree, but we could disagree from a place of moral integrity. I don't have to lose my morals because the camera is on me, so now I got to turn up against my brother. I don't have to lose my character because the camera is rolling and I can't have him say that in front of me because after all, the camera is rolling. That's corny. All right. That's corny. And I think that if we're honest with ourselves, there's no growth in that. There's no godliness in that. And there's just no future in that. So I want to use Zion Lexx TV to show that these discussions can happen a better way, can happen a different way. So I'm definitely going to be reaching out and interviewing some people who have oppositional thinking with others and have them settle those grievances right here. But again, amicably, right? Without all the hoopla and the rah-rah. All right. And that definitely will be taking the community to a whole nother level. On that note, I thank you all for your support. I thank you all for your love. And I'm signing out. I am your brother, Zion Lexx. Peace.
Send you the first. Send you the first. We going out. Out. Send you the first. Send you the first. We going out.
Preset, if you scared, then go home. And no, we ain't saying it twice. Cause once you get into this war zone, it's either your life or their life. And we ain't about losing before an intrusion. We gotta make sure we right. So we send praise and seek his face. Then we load up it is on site. What you thought it was, it's not. Don't wanna see us on your block. Yelling hallelujah, trying to tell y'all that victory is sure shot. We serve y'all Zah by O, and in this army of hosts. Yeah, Yahoo the lead. True indeed, in his name we both don't.
Send you the first. Send you the first, we going out. Out. Send you the first. Send you the first, we going out. Out. Torch fire, flags in the street. Sing louder, kick up the beat. All them enemy feet get delete when we cray in the street. Drew to drop them knee. Who got the praise for days? Who are the what can't face? Made for praise, spit prophecy. We be that anointed royalty. I said we came. Hey. The bar Hamayim number 2, that's on replay. Yeah, we gon' bust them walls, mash up and be on our way. Yeah, to the nations we proclaim his Kudash name. Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yah, Yah. Send you the first, send you the first. We going out, out.
Send you the first. You said.
Send you the first. We going out.
From Symbion to Benjamin, we need every man out here standing. Got sisters home and they praying while they brothers in the field slaying.
Slaying demons in sorrow. Hamashiach, we do follow. Sword the truth, we loud no mute. We lenders out here, we know no borrow.
Jacob's seed is undefeated when y'all's greeted with praise and leads us through a war without a grievance. Till the win is completed, then we return with our pieces.
Peace banger, peace be still with the Rangers. Mighty morphin', we hang them up to dry, they can hang on, hang on.
Let's go.
Send you the first. Send you the first, we going. Send you the first. Send you the first, we going. Send you the first. Send you the first, we going out. Out.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let her rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Purify my heart, my home, my dome, my soul, bring peace. Purify this dirty water in my cup I drink. I only want the living water from the king. Only want the diamond pressing out of me. Only want the white garment that's clean. Only want the true facts, that's me. 24 carats I rock in my heart, but it sinks to the bottom, you know that it's pure. Coming in sharp like a dark and the aim is on point, so you know that I'm pure. Filter all the evil out of my life, so when I pour it's pure. You know that it's more. I didn't close them doors, so move your finger, boy.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let her rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Trauma after trauma, trouble after trouble. Expected this way of life to be an eternal tussle. Thriller in Manila, told the Most High that I can't endure. Increasing power with each blow. I'm telling them, give me more. It's gonna take more than just one. On that front line when it come. Boy, this spiritual warfare decided to come here, bring more than a gun. I've been purified, so down the ride as long as breath in my lungs. That consuming fire burnt my desires, never going back where I'm from. Go.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let her rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name. Purify me.
Man, I step out the fire, my foot on the devil, I'm talking to y'all like a FaceTime. Purify my spirit, y'all say my soul, I've been trying to stay pure on this baseline. Old folks with the old me, they don't know me. Just look at my waistline, fridges drop on the bottom, Hakuna Matata, ain't worried about none of them headlines. Fake news in the media, I'm never media unless we talk about Torah. I'm just trying to go spread the bazaar. Saying talking, I try to ignore. I'm looking for lost meanings in the scripture, I'm on an adventure like Dora. Y'all can write a designer, I write a designer, his image got me an immortal.
Cause I'm keeping the faith. If you're not with it, then move out my way. This purification is keeping me sane. I don't get offended cause I'm not the same. If you stuck in the past or you stuck in the maze, keeping it real, a minute behind is a minute too late. If the first shall be last and the last shall be first, but I endure to the end of who win in the race. Sin the perversion, I'm a face, shuffle your boots and tie your lace. Go through the fire, then conversate. Give me a time, dog, finna wait. You back in the hind, dog, on the lake. You read it all wrong, dog, connotate. You falling behind, dog, keep the pace. You heard it all wrong, dog, spin the tape.
Purify me out in the flames. Purify me, sing your let it rain. Purify me out in your name. Purify me, purify me. Purify me out in the flames. Purify me, sing your let it rain. Purify me out in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Shalom, shalom, family. This is your brother Abdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx. Go to Amazon and purchase all of my books. Type in my author name, Abdiel Ben Levi, or you can also type in Zion Lexx. There you'll find some of my earliest books and my latest works. It was written and engraved. The DNA of Sound, The Star of David Controversy, Ancient Kemet on Trial, Patriarchs of the Covenant, Matriarchs of the Covenant, and my two foremost books that are critically acclaimed on Amazon, and even one has become a bestseller, and that's going to be the Messiah Codex Volume 1 and Messiah Codex Volume 2. So go to Amazon.com today, type in my name, Abdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx, and there you can purchase all of my books. Peace and shalom, family.
Want to take your understanding and perception of the Hebrew Bible to new and exciting heights and depths? Then join us today at Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. We offer a full range of masterly taught and thought-provoking classes and courses in Biblical Hebrew for beginners and advanced students, Torah classes, with specific emphasis on the weekly Torah portion. We also offer Kabbalah classes for beginners and advanced students, affording everyone a deeper and more esoteric understanding of the Bible and Torah. Lastly, we also offer courses in rabbinical and Levitical ministry training, especially designed for those looking to embark upon leadership opportunities in the community. We provide certificates and diplomas for several of our classes. Our online academy meets a couple days a week, and all of our classes are video recorded and for your playback needs. Each class recording comes with a fully digitized AI transcript, documenting everything learned and discussed in each session.
Shalom and welcome to Zion Lexx TV. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share the live stream. Become a member of Zion Lexx TV and unlock several hidden features and hidden videos. Also, you can donate to Zion Lexx TV at Cash App $Zion Lexx or via PayPal at zionlex@gmail.com. We also have an online academy entitled Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. Visit us on patreon.com/learntorah. Our Gold Tier membership gives you unlimited access to our special event lectures and our special live movie nights. Our Platinum Tier gives you unlimited access to our Torah class, Kabbalah class, Patriarchs and Matriarchs of the Covenant classes, as well as understanding the New Testament via the Oral Tradition class. Our Diamond Tier gives you unlimited access to all of the previous tiers, as well as our most sought-after class, our Biblical Hebrew course. And finally, our highest tier, our Sapphire Tier, gives you unlimited access to all previous tiers, as well as our highly esteemed rabbinical course. Be sure to sign up today and check your tier membership so as to ensure you're getting access to the classes you desire. Thank you for visiting us here at Zion Lexx TV, and now back to our current live stream.
tearing down idols, and we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods, that's a job for y'all. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, and we don't need these stones. We ain't no gods, that's a job for Yah. Calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods, that's a job for y'all. Everybody help me say all praise. All praise to the Most High. I can't hear you say all praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Hey, all praise.
Did you know that a recent rabbinical court ruling could rewrite the history of millions of African Americans? The connection goes deeper than you might think. The Obadiah Alliance, a respected Sephardic rabbinical court, has officially recognized the Igbo Jews of Nigeria as descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. This groundbreaking declaration bridges a historical gap that scholars have debated for generations. The ruling draws from extensive historical evidence, DNA research, and preserved cultural practices that link the Igbo people to ancient Israel. The implications reach far beyond Nigeria's borders. During the transatlantic slave trade, a significant number of enslaved people were taken from Igbo territories. Many African Americans and Afro-Caribbeans today can trace their ancestry directly to these Igbo regions. This connection aligns with the biblical text of Deuteronomy 28:68, which some scholars interpret as a prophetic reference to the slave trade. The evidence suggests a profound historical narrative. Many African Americans and Afro-Caribbeans may be descendants of the lost tribes of Israel through their Igbo ancestry. This revelation challenges conventional historical perspectives and opens new avenues for understanding identity, heritage, and cultural connections across continents. Could this ruling reshape our understanding of not just African American history, but biblical history as well? Share your thoughts on this remarkable discovery.